What is going on, all you wonderful people? As always, I am going to sit here for just a few minutes and wait for this thing to go live or to confirm that it's going live. For the most part, I am just going to be hanging out and talking with you guys just to see what's going on. Now, for those who don't know, Star Trek Discovery was confirmed for a second season, which surprised the living heck out of me. And unfortunately, Orville didn't even have a show this week. What was going on with that? So, figured we'd sit here, talk, maybe have some back and forth, see what was going on, see who showed up. If a lot of people show up, we can have a chat about anything you guys want to chat about. Or, if not a lot of people come up, I guess I can start on my video. Well, not start. Continue my video for tomorrow, or play some PUBG or Star Trek Online. I haven't played Star Trek Online in quite a while, though. Again, for the moment, I think I'm really just going to talk about the differences between Star Trek Discovery and Orville, which I'm going to be doing a video. I'm thinking about doing it next week, if I'm being honest, because if you look at both Star Trek Discovery as well as Orville, they're not the same video at all, or not the same series at all. I don't even think people can really compare them anymore. What's going on, Rick Van Boberson? How you doing, sir? Living it out in his house. Yeah, this one's going to be pretty laid back. I don't know how long the show's going to go. It's going to go for as long as it goes, obviously. But yeah, I was just sitting talking about Star Trek Discovery versus Orville because, again, it got released for a second season. I'm not surprised. Lua Goes Jump says, I'm not surprised they got a second season. I really honestly am surprised they got a second season. Insanely surprised because it's getting great press, but it's not getting good reviews from most of the people who watch it, from most of the viewers. And I would be very surprised if they had really good viewership, to be quite honest. Really good ratings. Rick Van Boberson says, actually, if you get a chance, what are your thoughts on Star Trek Online story points? So here's what's going to happen. I sit here and do this title. You're going to get me on Star Trek Online, and then everybody's going to dislike the video. I see how it is. I actually started with Star Trek Online when it first came out. And you know, the storyline has changed, especially the beginning of it has changed. And for the most part, I like it. I'm thinking about doing a series. I don't know how popular it would be, but I'm thinking about doing a series with Star Trek Online. Lua Goes Jump says, I'm guessing they're getting the numbers they want on CBS. That's really surprising to me. So, in my opinion, again, I'm going to be doing a video on this, but in my opinion, Orville is basically modern day The Next Generation. I think that's fair to say. A lot of it's very progressive in its ideology. A lot of it's I'm better than thou. A lot of it's good storytelling. A lot of it's everybody is happy in the end. So it's very The Next Generation in modern days. But I think Discovery, honest to God, I think Discovery is basically Game of Thrones in modern day. I sincerely, honest to God, do. And that's not necessarily bad, but then you can't compare it to Orville. Star Trek Discovery is very, very serialized. Just like Game of Thrones, you have to watch the episode before it, and you have to watch the episode before that, and you have to watch the episode before that, and if you don't, you're not going to understand what you're looking at. Whereas Orville is basically villain of the week, and you can just plug and play almost any episode. You don't really have to worry about continuity as much. And so the comparison between the two is not completely there. It comes down to what you enjoy. And that's why I think a lot of fans don't like Star Trek Discovery, because it's not The Next Generation. It's not even Deep Space Nine. A lot of people tried to say Deep Space Nine was serialized. It wasn't. You can have a common theme and not necessarily have a serialized episode to episode to episode. As long as you got what the Dominion War was, you could plug and play almost anywhere. And that's just like Orville. But with Star Trek Discovery, with Discovery, you can't do that. You have to watch almost every episode if you want to know exactly what's going on. Rick Van Boberson says on Star Trek Discovery's ratings, I think it's more a case they somehow worked in a give us 2 seasons to get going. If it gets a 3rd season, Discovery really is dead, or Star Trek really is dead. If it gets a 3rd season. Well, here's one thing I'll say. The first 2 seasons of most every Trek series has sucked. The Next Generation sucked. Deep Space Nine did really suck. They really came into their own on the 3rd season. Enterprise got really good in the third. Well, got really good. Got a lot better in the 3rd and 4th seasons. Voyager, which I've watched all of Voyager. I watched it a couple of times, I think, but Voyager is my least liked of series outside of Discovery. Even Enterprise I liked more. So I can't really say if I think I can't really speak to if it sucked all the way through because I didn't like most of it. I'm kind of in the minority. I seem to be a Star Trek fan that is not that into Orville, says Lua Goes Jump. So I'd be interested to know, did you like The Next Generation? Because Orville is very The Next Generation. So if you don't like Orville, I wouldn't be surprised if you weren't a big fan of The Next Generation. And if you were, it's fine. I mean, people don't have to like Orville, and people who like Discovery. Here's the thing I hate about this culture right now. There are a lot of issues I have with Discovery, and a lot of reasons I think it needs to be reimagined. But if someone loves Discovery, it's fine. If you love Discovery, congratulations. I'm glad that you enjoy a medium that I just find is meh. I mean, it's getting better. Discovery's getting better, in my opinion, but I didn't like the beginning of it. But if you did, great. A lot of people seem to think that if you don't like it, you can't be around with people. People seem to believe that if you don't like it, you can't be around people who like it, or if you like it, you can't be around people who don't like it. We need to be better than that, in my opinion. Rick Van Boberson, speaking to when I was talking about how the season sucked, but all those Trek iteration maintain the continuity. The show seems to not really care. It doesn't. I'm really thinking that maybe, I don't think this is Mirror Universe. It doesn't match continuity for Mirror Universe either, but it might be an alternate universe. Dalcree says, I really like Discovery. I wish they would ditch the whole main character BS, though. Absolutely. I can tell you 100% would increase the show by 50%. Mark it down, write it down. If Discovery becomes ensemble and not a focus on Michael. Now, they may keep Michael, but if it becomes ensemble, the show automatically gets better. 50% for me. Every show, well, we've only really had one, maybe two, but really one, a show that has been ensemble, I enjoyed. I would love every episode that's like that. Awkward Ape says they never call it a holodeck. It had already been established that holographic technology existed prior to TNG. I didn't really necessarily bring that up, but no. They didn't call it a holodeck. That's fine. It was a holodeck. They didn't have holodeck technology, and those who like to rely on the animated series, one, the animated series is not canon, but let's accept that it is. Two, the holodeck that they had in the animated series was, 7 to 10 years after this event, and again, holodeck technology is pretty expansive, so I doubt that this ship had it. Not sure why we got into that, but I mean, again, I'm happy to talk about it. Rick Van Boberson, Voyager was good, but you had to enjoy the concept of shift lost at seas trying to get home. I don't think it did that well, in my opinion, Rick Van Boberson. I really don't. Discovery has to be alternate. It seems like they are gearing up towards some different universe pocket, something to make it separate from the Prime timeline. I hope they do. I would really enjoy the series more if it was reimagined or not Prime timeline, and that's the only way. A lot of people are saying give them time. I'm here to watch I'm going to watch both seasons. I'm going to watch every episode, and every time there's an episode, we're going to talk about it ever. So I'm going to give them time, but I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's unfair if you watch a couple episodes and say, I don't like this. This isn't what Trek used to be. I don't think that's unfair, in my opinion. Awkward Ape says, I was responding to Rough Collie's Rock. Okay, fair enough, Awkward Ape. I still gave my opinion, because hey, why not? Rough Collie's Rock says, what would you like to see in Season 2? Maybe an Enterprise cameo? Also, is the Discovery more advanced than the Constitution, Spore Drive, Holodeck, etc.? So it has to be. They did say this is a ship fresh off. What's up, Mason Herman? They did say that this was a ship that was fresh out of docking bay or whatever. So it would have to be more advanced, obviously, to have all of this holographic technology. I got to see what they do in Season 1. Here's the thing that's kind of frustrating to me, too, that just gets with me. We haven't seen a lot of the war. It's almost like Days of Our Lives, where the war is in. I've never watched Days of Our Lives, so I'm about to pretend like I did or knew about its background. But like the war is in the background, and we're seeing all of these people's interactions. I want to know about this war. I'm really interested in all of these people that they're talking about, all of these lives impacted. Sure, they were in a battle here and there. Sure, people got kidnapped, but can I see more of the war? Can I understand what's going on? We always hear about the plight of the Federation or how the Klingons are getting beat, but we never see it. It's a lot of show, don't tell. DJF Entertainment, yay, second season. Hey, if you like it, congrats, brother. I'm gonna be here through it all, so we'll watch second season together. So I need to see what they're doing in the first season to really see what I want out of the second season, if I'm being honest. Rick Van Boberson says, same brother, I could really get into this Trek if they just separate it from Prime, but yeah, I'm giving it a chance. Yeah, I mean, again, so here's right now it's getting better. For me, it's just kind of it's getting better. But if they wanted to move me from middle ground to completely to like, not completely like or love, but from middle to like, admit that it's not Prime timeline. Just go alternate universe. Make it an ensemble piece. Both of those things, boom. I'm in the like. You'll see me and Michael arguing about if this is a good series or not all the time, if that happens. I think it's good to let Trek be different things. The show's real problem is being a prequel. That is quite possible. Rough Collie's Rock says, is the animated series a canon? It is. Absolutely. Positively not. Gene Roddenberry himself stated that the series was not canon, and every other IP holder from here until the end of the universe has stated that, with the exception of yesteryear, the animated series is not considered in universe. Now, I do know what's going on, Lady Addis. Hope you're doing well today. I do know that there was a reference in Discovery to either some of the people, the captains, as well as I don't know, but there were some other things that also kind of legitimized the animated series. I know that at least one of the captains was in the animated series, and there were a couple other shout-outs. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't watch a lot of the animated series. There's a reason why it's not considered in-universe. It is, in my opinion, and the opinion of most sane people, horrific work. But yeah, so some of it is, most of it's not, and I know there were some references to it in Discovery. Let's see. You guys are starting to talk pretty quickly. I don't know they are going to bring up. I don't know if they're going to bring up the war, because we know Garth ends the war, and them bringing him in would run Axanar right over, and then you start the controversy. I don't think CBS cares about the controversy. I really don't. I wouldn't be surprised. So me and Michael were talking about this, and I think I read it online somewhere where we got into it. I wouldn't be surprised if we found out that Gabriel Lorca has a middle name or first name. I wouldn't be surprised if Gabriel wasn't a middle name. I also wouldn't be surprised if the middle name of Gabriel Lorca was Garth. Yes, Anti-Trekker, the animated series is, in fact, crap. Everything I've seen of it is horrific, and is specifically and intrinsically not canon. Let's see. Oops, sorry, I meant if we see more war scenes, they would complain that there is too much action. Who would complain about that? I guess they might, but I don't know. I think I would be more interested in the war. We haven't heard anything The war is the backdrop. I'd be more interested in seeing the war than hearing about the war. Discovery doesn't care about canon. What makes anyone think they care about Axanar? I don't know that they don't care about canon. No, it's not, Trekker. It is not in canon at all. Gene Roddenberry in every IP has said the animated series is not in canon. It's not. And it's not a good show either. I don't know if they care about canon or not, but I know they don't care about Axanar. I know they'll do whatever they want, regardless of how it looks with Axanar. CBS just gives no Fs about that. What's your opinion on the F word in Discovery? Was Choose Your Pain kind of an experiment for audience reactions? We actually talked about this in the Choose Your Pain episode. And I thought it was funny. I thought that it was interesting when it was used. I laughed at it. I don't think it was very Star Trek, though. I simply don't. I think that Star Trek generally keeps it a lot less than that. So yeah, I just thought it was good for the show. It was a good point in there. It was funny, but I don't think that it met. Star Trek Online is not considered canon anymore, most of it, at least. I think the problem with Discovery is Kurtzman. He really didn't do well with the Transformer animated series either. That's possible. That is possible. People complained about DS9 because it wasn't on a ship. People will complain. So here's the thing. People will complain all the time about everything. And, I get that. But I think that once Deep Space Nine got its legs in season 3, most people were turned around about it. And ironically enough, they got a ship. They got the Defiant so that they could travel around. The biggest argument I hear about post-TNG shows is that they aren't Trek, which causes me to think people's idea of what Trek is too narrow. So here's my thing. First off, I think Deep Space Nine is Trek. I think Voyager and Enterprise are. And I think that they keep true to the source material. I think they attempt to honor the source material. I don't think Discovery does nor cares. I don't think Discovery cares about anything to do with the source material, honestly. And I do think that that's the difference. Look, I don't like Berman. I think Berman did what Kirk couldn't in destroying the franchise. He was able to completely torpedo it. That said, I do think that I think Berman cared. I just don't think he did a good job. And I don't think the people who are making Discovery necessarily care, or they're doing this big reveal and they're taking a heck of a gamble where they're making it so obvious that it's not prime timeline, and then they are going to do this alternate reality. Now that's a gamble. And if it's done right, I can say I might be completely turned around. You might see me being 100% Discovery. I absolutely love it, but it's a huge gamble. I do hope that's what they're doing, and I hope they do it well. I tried giving Discovery a chance. Episode 6 actually got under my skin. I will watch it, but writers do not care. Well then. The owner of the IP is CBS. Before that, it was NBC and Paramount, not Gene Roddenberry, so he cannot choose canon. That's an interesting discussion. I don't like... I don't think Roddenberry... I think Roddenberry came up with a brilliant idea when he thought of putting Trek together. So just the genesis of Enterprise and the genesis of Trek, I think that was brilliant. I think when George Lucas did it, the Star Wars, I think that was brilliant, how he put that together. When it comes to how they decide to form their universes, then that's where I start disagreeing with how they put it together. And, I Red Letter Media, I think, said it pretty well. In that, Gene's been gone for a long time, so Trek is going to change, because he's gone. Even if we accept that he is the ultimate authority in canon, which I don't think that's necessarily accurate. But even if we completely agreed that he's gone, so what is Trek is going to change based on whoever owns the IP, and that's fair. And again, it's interesting because they have these brilliant ideas, but then they take it in places that don't seem somewhat logical to me, and I start disagreeing with. I think that's an interesting interaction there. I need to look at the credits, but I'm pretty sure Paramount is making this, which is why I'm 80% sure why I think this is Kelvin. It's my understanding Paramount doesn't have any at all interaction in this. This is completely CBS. Now I might be wrong, but that's my understanding. Do you think Rough Collie's Rock says, do you think we'll see the Enterprise, Pike, Spock, of course, with the actors look similar? Would that be cool? I was talking to Trekker about this. I would love to see Spock. Honestly, I'd love to see, what is it, Tarantino? Is he who plays Spock? We'll see a younger Spock, because that's when it happens. But I would love to see JJ verse actors in this universe. I think that would be cool. I know that would go completely against Prime, and I know that Paramount would never let it happen, but that would be so awesome. Just to see Kirk and Spock and everybody interact, I think that would be really fun. Nexus says, I'm pretty sure this doesn't matter, but especially since we saw Kelvin Pike actor, but that just might be because plot. Definitely because plot. Mr. Pete 8680, what is going on, sir? How you doing in his house? How much you missed everything. You missed all the things, sir. Doctor Who has been around for over 50 years and has better continuity and less plot holes than Discovery. Discovery is supposed to be a reboot, not an alternative. Again, I just wish they had just said, hey, guess what, guys? This is going to be Discovery reimagined, Star Trek reimagined, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I was still going to watch it. Maybe they have better knowledge than me, I guess, so maybe they know better than I would what would be good or what wouldn't. But I don't know, just be honest. People watch Battlestar Galactica reimagined. Why wouldn't you watch Star Trek Discovery reimagined? Let's see. I think it'd be interesting, even if it wasn't the actors from Paramount, from the JJ verse. It'd be interesting to see Christopher Pike. It'd be interesting to see Kirk, to see them play minor roles. I think the Enterprise was name dropped. I think it'd be kind of cool to see the Enterprise. How fun would that be? Maybe they save the Enterprise, or maybe the Enterprise saves them. This week I'll be doing a Doctor Who lore for those who are interested. We'll be doing the Time War and the Master's role in the Time War for all of those who are interested. Do you think we'll see Mirror Universe next episode? I don't know. We're supposed to see multiple episodes are supposed to be Mirror Universe, from what I understand. The way it looked like to me, it looked like it was just going to be like a time bubble, which, as Trekker said, we've seen that 1,000 times. But I'm excited about seeing Harry Mudd. I love that character. I get it. It's not the original series Harry Mudd, but I love that character. He's going to cause them some hell, and I love the actor too. I think that's just awesome. Nexus says Captain Pike was in the pilot episode, but as a shadowy figure that you can't identify unless you just watched a movie with him in it when Michael was sentenced. Oh, I'd never noticed that. Yeah, you got that too. Reimagined would have lost me totally. I don't mind different reality or universe. I mean, what is reimagined but a different reality or a different universe? It's just one that doesn't interact with the original. I mean, it's basically Kelvin timeline. So there's in my opinion, unless they're going to interact, it's an alternate reality. I haven't seen all of episode 6. Please no spoilers. Okay, I don't remember giving any spoilers at all. Do not watch the last episode because that gives nothing but spoilers. But yeah, and that's the funny thing, because Orville brings up and has great conversation pieces, but because it's Villain of the Week, unlike Discovery, there's not a lot of connections there. I think this kind of shows the differences between Orville and Discovery, and it gives some of the advantage to Discovery in its serialized nature. So in Discovery, because everything ties in, we can have these discussions Is it alternate timeline? Is it, X, Y, and Z? What's going on? Orville, because everything gets handled in the episode, Villain of the Week. We can talk about those ideas, but nothing expands beyond that. And that's kind of what I was saying. I'm going to do a video about this next week, I think, but you can't really compare Orville and Discovery. I think they're both Trek. I do. I think Orville is a modernized The Next Generation. I think Discovery is the attempt at a next iteration. It's Game of Thrones. It's As the Days of Our Lives in Space. I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. I'm going to go back and watch that now to see if that's Pike. That would be kind of cool. Nexus, yeah, he was the one handing down the sentence. It took me a few seconds to notice, but he's there. Yeah, I didn't notice that either. Trekker, I think, is working, so he may not be watching anymore, but I'd be interested. Anti-Trekker, if you're there, did you catch that? Because I didn't when I was watching it at all. That's kind of cool. I like that. So that's one thing that Discovery, I think, does, which can be very cool. It drops these little things that you catch on to. Reimagine, to me at least, wipes away the 50 years plus of continuity, really does make a difference in my view to the hardiness of a series. As for other universes, the rules don't apply. So let me put this out there for you, Rick Van Boberson. Your outlook may be the reason why they lied, if they indeed did lie. Because they know people are going to be like, oh, reimagined? Well, they're obviously not going to do what I like, so I'm just... And that may be... And I'm not blaming it on you, but I'm just saying something to consider is that maybe that's why. Again, I hope it's alternate reality. Again, as I said, alternate reality plus ensemble. Moving to an ensemble cast would make the show better. A lot better for me. Lua Goes Jump. Also, Seth MacFarlane's comedy on the show is kind of meh. Every time he talks, I just hear Brian the talk. His comedy rarely makes me laugh out loud, but it's tolerable to me. I don't... Yeah, see, a lot of people say it's miss. I see that a lot. It depends on what you mean by miss. It's tolerable to me. But I don't know. It doesn't bother me, and I can watch the show. The show's enjoyable for me. You don't like Brian, the Family Guy, as Captain? I think Brian as the Captain would be very cool, in my opinion. Captain Brian. Let's see. Where is the Discovery going? I think it's teasing something huge. It's just building the characters to a point. Which point, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where it's going either. They're again alternate reality. I think they're going to end the war probably before because it's going to stop, I believe, in November and then start back up in January. And I wouldn't be surprised if the war ends before the end of season 1, because they said they're going to stop the story arc. There's going to be a story arc that ends in season 1. I think that's going to be the war, especially since we're not seeing a lot of the war. Honestly, this war, it doesn't matter if they're in a war or not, because I don't know a lot about it. It doesn't impact me. So I think they're going to end the war before the end of season 1 and start a new thing. And that may be the alternate universe. If I had to make a prediction, I would say that they're going to be dealing either with mirror universe or with alternate realities. War ends by the end of season 1. What would be awesome is if they made the mirror universe a major arc, like fighting the mirror universe or having to go against the mirror universe. I would love that. So that might be a thing that I might not care that it's all Michael or Ensemble too. Start a war with the mirror universe and have that a season. I gotta say that seems exciting to me. I like that. But I'll take it over Tim and Eric from the Family Guy, I'm assuming. Don't know who Tim and Eric are. I didn't know if I saw them, I guess. Yeah, so I'm still surprised by season 2. And, Orville may not even get a season 2, and that's a travesty. I think Orville's good. I think Orville deserves a season 2. Is this skirmish war or full-on invasion war? I think it's, from my understanding, it's a full-on invasion war, which is why you don't know a lot about it. Here's the interesting thing: every time they go to the captain's quarters, you see the war and the lines. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I did. The line actually changes on where the war is. Sometimes you'll notice it looks like the Klingons have moved into Federation space. Sometimes it looks like the Federation's doing well. More than not, the Federation is doing well based on the maps that you see in Lorca's office. Sometimes it's not, but mostly it is. So I do think it's a full-out war, but it looks like the Federation's doing really well. I think the mid-season break might have something to do with Section 31 or the Temporal Agency. I forgot the name of the second one. Mirror Universe War would be epic. Don't think the Temporal Agency is going to come in. Don't think we're going to see Temporal Time War, Cold War, anything like that. I don't think they're going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Maybe Section 31. I am less and less convinced that's Section 31. I don't think it's Section 31. Star Trek Online added Star Trek Discovery. Of course they did. Star Trek Online is going to do anything. I like Star Trek Online, but they are free to play, which means they're going to do everything they can to get money. So obviously they're going to have the Discovery outfits. Tim and Eric were an adult. Oh, wow. Can I talk? Tim and Eric were an adult swim show. It was stupid. It sounds stupid, and I've never seen it. I think the Orville would be good if it got cut down to 30 minutes. I like the Orville. I've liked every episode that I've seen. I do think that it is not kind to the religious. I do think that it is not kind to anyone who does not have a progressive opinion. But I do like the Orville. Even though I don't agree necessarily sometimes with the message, I think that they do it well, and I think that they present it well. Well, isn't Orville like the second most popular show on Fox? Why cancel? Well, first thing is it's Fox. Fox cancels everything, especially if it's doing well. But beyond that, its ratings, to my understanding, aren't hot. Its ratings have been dropping pretty steadily. I could be wrong on that, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope it stays. But it's my understanding that the ratings have not been doing well with it at all. I have to wait on my Armada to settle on a uniform, and I no longer think it's Section 31 either, as much as the theory synced up at first. I'd like a Section 31 subplot or arc. I just don't think it is. I don't think... No, it's the only thing there is the 1031 on the ship and the black badges. Nothing else leads me to believe anything about this is Section 31. I think Anti-Trekker makes a great opinion on that. Stephen Bauman, I really think they are leaving the mirror universe out of this. I think the water bear drive will throw them into an alternate universe. The producer and the director has confirmed there will be mirror universe episodes. Now, there may not be a mirror universe war, but there will be mirror universe episodes. Nexus, it'd be funny if the end of the series has temporal warships blowing up the Discovery Voyager stuff. Oh, that'd be awesome. Would you like Discovery Ship storyline with Daniels, where you go back and try to stop bad guys from changing Discovery history in Star Trek Online? Maybe an assassination attempt. They're never going to do that timeline because no one would want to go back and stop it. No one would play that quest. The quest would never get done. It's like, hey, you got to go back and save the crew of the Discovery. Why would I do that? That doesn't make any sense, obviously. So have you guys... Here's an interesting thought that I'd like to see. So I talk about SF Debris a lot. He was a... I talk about SF Debris a lot. He was a... he is a reviewer. Someone that I have somewhat styled my show after. Someone I really respect. And so... he had an interesting theory when he was doing the finale of Discovery of Voyager, that I think could be interesting with Discovery. So let's say that they do the temporal Cold War, the temporal thing. And let's say that the Discovery gets caught up in it. It would be interesting if Season 2 was the last season for Discovery, or whenever the last season of Discovery happens, that Discovery destroys itself, saving the Federation, removing the entire ship from the timeline, and they die heroes that no one will ever remember, but they're heroes nonetheless. So if this entire thing builds up to the temporal Cold War, where they're fighting for, Agent Daniels, and they go through all of this stuff and all of this heartache, and at the end they have to destroy the bad guys and they have to ram their ship into the space station or whatever, and it's going to eliminate the space station and eliminate them, and it's as if it never happened. And then what would be cool is, so however they get this arc going, this arc done, the Discovery slams into the space station or whatever it is, it resets, and the last scene of Discovery is the original Enterprise A, as if that's, it goes all the way back, and it's you start on the bridge and you see the actual Captain Kirk there. I think I think that would be an interesting and very cool arc. I don't think they do it, but Water Bear Drive, what's next? Horse Manure Drive? Maybe that's where they're moving next. Do you think Discovery will be a memorable show, or will it be sideshowed by a new Trek show in the future? I'll probably remember it since it represents much of our conflicted time period today. I think that it will, as long as our country stays the way it is, I think that it will always be a divisive thing among Trek fans. I think if we get past all of this division, all of this right versus left, all of this progressive versus conservative, all of this feminist versus anti-feminist, I think that depending on how season 1 and 2 end, it will either be remembered as a failed experiment or a cool new iteration. But I think as a country, we have to get over our divisiveness, because if we don't, then it's just going to be hated based on how you feel about certain subjects. I do hope that it'll be remembered for what it is and not what it represents, because that's one of the things I don't like either. I do have to say this as a sci-fi Kustin Shuktukai, never going to be able to say that name right. I do have to say this as a sci-fi reader and watcher. As for Discovery, Star Wars, Awaken, and Last Jedi, and Marvel are all so polarized and boring that I have read better sci-fi on SoFurry.com. Okay, I don't know what SoFurry.com is. Don't go to it. I don't endorse it. Does not sound like the most PG place to be. Yeah, I don't think we could ever see a Deep Space Nine right now. I don't think we could ever see the original series right now. I don't think we're in an era where that can happen. I've said it, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I had really hoped that this show doesn't have the fate Enterprise had. Yes, the Temporal Cold War was bad, but it was a good show. Yeah, I agree. I would, man. So this one ends with, as a holodeck program too. Maybe, I don't know, like Data, who has his own ship now. Data has his own ship and he's researching it, and so it's a complete rehash of what happened in Enterprise. Oh man, what's your opinion on Lorca being unethical? I hate it and I like it. My opinion on Lorca being unethical, I hate it and I like it, and here's why. I hate it because I think Lorca's going to end up being a real bad guy that they're going to have to defeat, and I like Lorca. I don't care what Isaacs has said. I don't care who Isaacs is outside of Lorca. I watch Discovery for Lorca, not for Isaacs. So removing the actor from Lorca, I like Lorca. I would like Lorca to be a good guy who's a pragmatist. And I hope that maybe this arc has a redemption for him. But I don't like it because I think it means that Lorca's a bad guy. And the writing is that they just give everybody hats and they're not really subtle about that stuff. I like it because it's realistic. One of the things I liked about Deep Space Nine in the Pale Moonlight is how realistic I think it was. And when I say realistic, what I mean is I think that it's cool Gene Roddenberry's vision. I don't agree that that's the way things are going to be. But Gene Roddenberry's vision, where we're all peace-hugging hippies, where we all love each other, where we've advanced so far that death doesn't even impact us as a child, I think that's cool, but I don't think it's realistic. But I think if you take that, evolved humans, and then you put them out there into the universe, and then take away those creature comforts like Quark says, and then see what happens, I think that's a great humanity piece, a great human piece. And I think that Lorca is doing that. I think that a captain would have PTSD. And I think that it's realistic, and I like that. Because I don't think you can't just... Like, Picard always bothered me with the Borg. I mean, I like Picard. I like the timelines. But what happened to Picard, even with how he goes insane in First Contact, isn't realistic to me. He would have much more damage than that. So I like that Lorca is damaged because that's the way a person would be. They would be damaged. But I hope that they have a redemption for him. I like Lorca. I like Lorca. I just do. Do you think Lorca and the Admiral Woman are in love since they gave prelude to a love scene? I don't know if they're in love. I do think that there's history there and that they care for each other. I don't know that they're in love. Mr. Lundell J says, I'm not surprised that Lorca would turn out to be a bad guy. The show loves to run opposite of what people have come to expect of Trek. I mean, it's possible. God, Isaacs is nauseating. Great captain, but nauseating to watch and interview. Yeah, again, I don't watch Jason. Look, here's my thing. If I ever met Jason Isaacs, I would tell him how much of a great actor he is and how much I love Lorca and how I think he does well for it. I'd even take him out to lunch just because, he's such a great actor. Beyond that, I don't think I agree with much of whatever else he says, and he probably doesn't agree with anything that I say, and that's okay. I can pay CBS Access, keep him employed. He can continue to act, and we can both go along our ways, just disagreeing. It's okay. People can disagree and still, interact. Death will always affect humans, no matter how enlightened we become. I guess. I've been dealing with death quite a bit in my life, so it's an unfortunate part of life. But yeah, I mean, I could never see us moving past it. But I think, and this is probably damage for me because I've had to deal with the loss of my parents within the last 3 years, and my dog hasn't been dead a week so far. A future where we can accept death without being emotionally destroyed for months is appealing to me, given what I'm going through currently. So, I mean, it's horrible to say, but if there was a way for us to accept what is inevitable, I don't see that necessarily as a bad thing. People are going to disagree, and that's fine. I may feel different in a couple of years after I get past this, but I like that Discovery is conflicted. It shows tension, and in doing so, showing more violence and adult themes than previous shows. Yeah, I don't mind darker themes. Deep Space Nine, I think, was a darker theme. I don't mind that. I don't hate it. So, Paul Lepla says 775 frowny face. Don't know what that means. Awkward Ape. There's plenty of precedent and toss for unethical, damaged human characters. The only departure is the one of them is a central character now. I wasn't a huge... I wasn't alive during the original series when it aired, and I got into Trek when it was The Next Generation. And The Next Generation firmly had humans, like children, who weren't crying and had moved past death. So that's what I'm speaking have. Do you have Discovery on Space Channel? Do you have Discovery on Space Channel? I don't have cable, so no. Even Vulcan save, I grieve with thee. Cool. Paul Lupple. I've lost my father and dog and house within the last 2, so I can feel this pain, and time will help. Well, I'm sorry, Paul. I mean, I'm not trying to... I don't mean to bring up anything bad on your side. I apologize. But I'm sorry you're going through that. We can empathize with each other, brother. We can definitely empathize. Uh, again, I like dark themes. I think that people who grew up with, it's just like Marvel. It's just like anything DC. Batman, The Dark Knight Rises. I think that as people, when we grew up with these shows, they were lighthearted. Now that our tastes are more sophisticated, we want to see darker themes of what we like to watch as kids. So I like darker Trek as well. Discovery isn't in America unless it's Access. That's true. So I lied, I cheated, I bribed men to cover the crimes of other men. Yep, Captain Sisko. I'll be doing a defense of In the Pale Moonlight towards the end of the Dominion series, the Dominion War series, which is coming to an end, and I hate, because people love that series. I love doing that series. It's not ever going to truly be at an end. I'll ever so often do updates or do different videos, but I'm getting to the end of what I planned for that well. Laura, do you realize Wesley said that accepting death of TNG was all just BS people wanted to hear from him, right? Okay. I don't know what that's meant to say, but okay. Fair enough. Not a huge fan of Wesley Crusher myself. Most people don't like Wesley Crusher, though. The actual Wesley Crusher, the character, not the actor. Rough Collie's Rock says, what if Orville and Discovery came together in some kind of spoof episode, maybe even switch places with one being funny, Discovery, and one being dark, Orville? What would be funny? They'll never do it. But what would be great is the spoof would have to happen on Discovery. But maybe bring in a couple of the actors, have like Isaacs and maybe Michael. And I don't know, pick someone else. Not Saru, I don't think they'd do that. But pick one of the... Tilly. Have Tilly, Michael, and Lorca show up, and maybe have the veterans of a war. So just make up some war that the United whatever planets came up to, and they were veterans of a war, and everybody was just like fawning over them. And so what would be funny about that? So then you could have like the captain and the XO who are jealous because everybody loves them, thinking they were the original captains, the original OT, and maybe Mercer and the XO are jealous and getting upset, and then they both of them come together to stop whatever, like the Krill attack. They all come together to help out. I think that'd be cool. Or have the Orville crew, have the Discovery crew show up in a different ship. The Orville crew show up, and they're at odds until they have to come together. DS9 was classy. Discovery is a pale comparison. The studios dying after the 1970s and indies rising in the 80s into the 90s allowed creative writing with a twist. What a twist. The Bush era happened. Rest in peace, creativity. I'm not sure what the Bush era has to do with the destruction of creativity, but okay. And it would be interesting if Garth was next to Pike, because this just goes further into CBS lying to us in one way or the other, but it would acknowledge they do somewhat follow canon. Yeah, I'd love to see Pike. I'd love to see Spock. I'd love to see Kirk. I hope they bring them into it. I hope we see them at some point. I don't know how they bring them in because they're not part of the Enterprise. Maybe see them as cadets. That'd be interesting. Basically, even in the future of the Next Generation, the We Accept Death got shot in the head by Wesley admitting in an episode of TNG. The whole thing was just a facade kids put on. I got you, fanboy MS Prime. Makes more sense now. I don't remember that, but I'll take your word for it. So, yeah. I mean, I don't think we could ever get over death, but it's something nice to... Becoming more okay with circumstances we can't change and with the realities, I don't think is a negative. Family Guy meets Discovery. I'd love to see some Family Guy stuff in there, some references or something of that nature. It'd be kind of cool if they... So, in Orville, how funny would it be? I think it'd be hilarious. Most other people might not. But if Mercer somehow got turned into a dog like whatever type of dog Brian's supposed to be, like a real life dog, not animated. And so he's talking like he's actual Brian. I think that would be kind of funny to see and go through. I'm just spitballing ideas. Nothing wrong with spitballing ideas. That's what we're here to talk about. I wish Orville had actually had an episode so I could talk to you guys about it. But yeah, so I think I wouldn't be surprised if Lorca ends up being Garth. Maybe, and you know, the original episode, I don't know that I ever completely saw the original series episode with Garth in it. But what if Garth's a nickname? CBS isn't scared of Axanar. CBS isn't scared of fans' opinions of Axanar. So if they want to do something with it, I think they will do it. I personally want to see Spock fight Data with lightsabers in a bar scene set on Babylon 5 because reasons. Yeah, it makes sense in the current Discovery timeline. I don't see why they don't do that. The first Discovery novel had them try to sort out how different the Cage and the Prelude ship for Discovery. The first Discovery novel had them try to sort out how different the Cage, which the Cage is the first episode, or the pilot episode for the original series, and the Prelude ship for Discovery. Okay. Yeah, no, episode 7 sucks. Episode 7 does not suck, sir. You suck. I don't think episode 7 has come out. The last one we saw was episode 6, right? Love to see where Orville is going to go with the Krill. You know, I asked this on the last episode. Now that we know that kids are on Krill ships, do you think they're going to as easily destroy them? Do you think they're going to keep that continuity where Mercer has issues destroying Krill ships now? Steven, that may alter the time-space continuum. What happens if we see Q? Q shows up. Do you think they'd do that? That'd be kind of interesting to see. And the Q reprised as the person who plays Q. The actual Q, not a new actor Q. Q, the Q. CBS doesn't care about Axanar. Your Garth idea is viable. I'm not going to be surprised. I almost want Lorca to be Garth to a degree. If he's going to go evil, if we're going to see Lorca be the bad guy, then I almost want him to be Garth. And it really all fits in, if you think about it. Because Garth was the hero of the war, right? Yeah, episode 7 of Orville isn't out. Correct. Paul is from the future or the production department. That'd be cool to have someone on the production department of Discovery here. But I doubt anybody with Discovery, unless you're a CBS lawyer in IP, unless you're coming after me for copyright as a CBS lawyer, I really doubt anyone from CBS is here. Rough Collie says, thanks, I'm new to this live chat thing, only seen one of these and didn't know I could this until then. P.S. Thanks, love your channel. Hey, I love you, Rough Collies. I love you. So you don't have to love my channel because I love you. Paul Lepla, well, he just dressed like Liberace? He may not even be more than Liberace. Don't know the reference. I guess I'm supposed to know the reference, but I don't. The only thing I think sucks is the USS Discovery has the several corridors between the inner sphere and the outer sphere. Yeah, you don't want to be in between those corridors when Black Alert happens. If you're in one of those that spins, you're going to have a fun time. Garth is Garth, by the way, of Izar is his nickname. Yes, Mr. Pete 868. Oh, I get that, but get this. So it's Gabriel Lorca. But what if it's Gabriel Garth Lorca? Or what if it is Garth Gabriel Lorca, Gabriel being a middle name? Paul Lepla says, LOL, I'm just a writer and a loyal Star Trek fan. Yes, but are you an officially licensed Star Trek writer? Because that'll be cool, Paul. If you write Star Trek, you write licensed Star Trek. I'm going to be honest. If you are, I am going to screen cap it and then put it on Twitter. So you might want to lie to me if you don't want your name on Twitter. All this talk about Axanar makes me want to watch Prelude to Axanar for the 20th time. I've had people request I do a lore on Prelude. And I almost kind of want to do a lore on Prelude, but it's a 20-minute video that is nothing but lore. So I'm doing a lore on what is lore. And I think I said this. They're going to do 2 15-minute episodes. I hope they do the same as they did Prelude. So they can't do the big box office they wanted to do. So just do 2 more episodes of a faux mockumentary. How fun would that be? How cool would that be? I mean, just do that. Do that. You should check out our puppies. Look up Rough Collie Watches Markiplier. I'll do that. You should check out our puppies. Look up Rough Collie Watches Markiplier. The only real problem, Rough Collies, is the fact that you watch Markiplier. Beyond that, it sounds cool. But I will put that right here, and I have it set for that, and I'll watch it later. What if Garth is the first name of the Mirror Universe Lorca? That'd be cool. Paul, if you are an official writer of Discovery, I have a bone to pick with you. Stephen Bauman, if he is somehow connected to Discovery in an official capacity, you will be nice to him, sir. You will be absolutely nice to him, and yeah. Loreception. That's right, Nexus. We're in Loreception. I honestly hope that Loreception would me doing lore of something that is Loreception. I honestly hope that the fan community tells CBS Paramount where they can shove their guidelines. CBS has deep wallets. I am currently in discussions with CBS about their opinion on fair use, and I disagree what they consider fair use to be. But I could not beat them, even though I completely and 100% stand by what I've done is fair use. Disney, AMC, Time Warner, who else? BBC. Everybody agrees with me except CBS. And I am putting my foot in the line for some of it. Because if they want to take me to court for some of it, then let's just see what happens. But I'm not going to poke the bear with them. Though, if they do sue me, trust me, the one thing you guys will see is a lot of updates on how CBS has sued me. Would it be cool if a younger version of the guy who created the M5 computer appeared, maybe with a previous model? So I'm probably about to get mocked, because I'm not completely sure. When you say the M5 computer, is that the original series? Or the M4? So this is probably something I should know. Kitties are awesome, and so are puppies. That is true. That is absolutely true. Both kitties and whatever are cute. So we got Dog Watches Markiplier right here, and he looks confused, very confused. That is a beautiful dog, though. All right, guys, I think we're going to be ending this pretty shortly. I'm going to go ahead and subscribe. So yeah, if you guys like dogs watching Markiplier, as well as, let's see what else you got here, buddy. You just have one 2 months ago. What's up with that? I'm your second subscriber. It is an adorable video, though. He's talking about Richard Daystrom, who the Daystrom Instrom is named for. Ah, that I do know, Awkward Ape. Nexus, so would making a Star Trek Online machinima be a part of their guidelines? Also, again, why is the computer talking in Discovery? I think you could do it. I don't think they're going to come after you for machinimas. Not a lawyer, so don't take that with a grain of salt. But I doubt they'd come after you for that. Honestly, so here's my thing. Daystrom created the M5 from the original series. It sounded vaguely familiar, so I thought I knew what you were talking about, but I wanted to make sure. Let me say this. Paul Lepla, you have a great night, sir. Thank you so much. Awesome talking to you. I do shows Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday, so come hang out. 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time or 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Either way, come hang out with me anytime. I also do videos Monday through Friday. So, what was I talking about? So, CBS reacted to what Axanar did. I hate that I talk about this every time we have one of these videos. Look, I like Axanar. I like the people who made Axanar. I think they're relatively nice people. They seem fun. But Axonar did a lot of things it shouldn't have, and they quite clearly broke copyright. I know they disagree with me in that. That's fine, but I think it's quite clear they did. And CBS, because they never wanted to have to deal with this again, overreacted. So I don't know that CBS will go after people as harshly as they say they are. But I do think that CBS was reasonable in some of the reaction to Axonar. And I know that's not popular. But that's my honest opinion on it. And I think they overreact now. So for instance, you guys know the videos I do. I've actually changed up my style, so now I don't think Content ID is going to hit me, and CBS is leaving me alone. So the new style is working. But the old style... the Section 31 video. So if you look at the Dominion War, Section 31, if you go look at that video, I feel it's quite clearly under fair use. I would be happy to tell a court of law that it is. And I think a court of law would agree with me. 6 Content ID hits. 6. 6 of them. Whoops. I got 6 Content ID hits on that one. What was another one? Rise of the Romulans. That was one of my most popular videos. Something I worked really hard on, and I would have loved to see the revenue. All of it's going to CBS. 8 Content IDs. 8 Content ID hits. So I do think that they overreact. But I somewhat understand it. Is Discovery going to reference Axonar maybe? I don't think they will. I think that'd just be cruel, and I don't think they're going to do that. I've got to go. Love your channel. I'll watch your videos and your streams. Rough Collies Rocks, thank you for watching, sir. Hey, as I said, I'm here Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday, Mondays, and Wednesday, and I do shows Monday through Friday. Honestly, it's getting towards the end for me. I try to do hour shows. I think I'm going to end it here. As always, I love doing these. That's why I hang out. So definitely come out and hang out with me, guys. The more people that watch, the more I want to do these. And... this is how I pay my bread. So, you know, if you like what you see, definitely subscribe. Watch all of my videos. Watch them from start to finish. And hey, if you really want to support me, you can always support me on patreon.com/Lore Reloaded. Become a sponsor. If you can't or don't want to do that, hey, it's all free. All I ask is that if you like my content, you watch it and you talk with me and we have a conversation. But guys, until then, I think I'm going to head out. So thanks so much for coming. And I'm going to see you on the next Lore Reloaded. Now at this point I've already gotten done, and I'm going to sit here and talk for just a few more minutes because it cuts me off if I don't. And